I've used Parallels before, never used VirtualBox before. Well, just started to. I've already set up Mint Mate. I'm going to go ahead and see if I could set up Mint Cinnamon using some of the stuff I've learned and see how long it takes, see what it takes to do it. So I'm going to create a new one, and I want this to be Mint Cinnamon 19.3. I'll do a dash there. And I could save it in its standard type, and it already figured out that I want to do Linux. I'll give it more memory, and create a virtual hard disk. Mint Mate, no, create a new one. Oh, that would be if I was using an existing, so create a new one. Sure, create a new one, and that looks good. And I found out that the 10 gigabytes was not enough for at least the Mate version, so Cinnamon I'll also give 20. And let's see. File location, Mint Cinnamon, that all looks good. So I'll just try a normal start and see what happens here. Oh, please select a virtual drive. It's pointing to Mint Mate there. There we go. That's what I did before that was wrong. So I will go ahead and remove that. There's got to be a way of removing it. Well, I will add and say Linux Mint Cinnamon, but I don't want the Mate one to be on there at all. Can I just hit delete? Backspace? Leave empty, and it's not letting me. Well, I'll tell it to start with the Cinnamon. See what happens. Probably in the menus up here, I could have set optical drives and remove disk from virtual drive. There we go. So I could have done that. And this is Mint Cinnamon. So, okay, well, it's working, so that's good enough. We'll go through. You have the auto capture keyboard on, sure. When I did install this, it's a simple drag and drop like most Mac programs. It did want a bunch of permissions when I started it. I said yes to most. I did tell it, no, it cannot capture keyboard commands from anywhere on my system. I don't see why it would need that, but most of the other things I turned on. And there we go. And then it says install Linux Mint. And here we go. And just standard installation, and this will take a while. I will probably just let it install because I think it takes 15-20 minutes, maybe even just 5 minutes. I don't know. I didn't time it last time. I will install third-party software. And it takes a little bit of time. I do think, even when I give this a little bit more memory, I do think that it's not as fast as my Parallels version was, but my Parallels version is outdated, is no longer supported by the current macOS, and so I'm just hitting continue on these. And I don't feel like spending the $50 to update it because I don't have a good business need for it right now. I might go ahead and do it at some point anyway. I will go ahead and call this My Name is Snit on here. Your computer's name, I will do Mint Cinnamon. Really secure password is just going to be Snit. I do that for my virtual machines often and log in automatically. Of course, if you are using this for more than just demo purposes, you might not want to do that. It is going to copy files. This may take a little while, so I probably will snip some of this out. As this is still going, I am going to show one preference here that I did set. And it seems to be holding here fairly well. If I go to the display, I set monitor 1 to be 200% because this window is just so tiny. Now I am on a modern Mac that has a what they call the Retina display, that high resolution, and I don't think this works with it very well. Parallels does handle that better. I don't need to go in and set things, but it wasn't that big of a deal. It does mean, though, when I resize Windows, it was acting really funky. On Parallels, it just resizes the screen to that, but you need a special driver to do that. This, I don't have to put a special driver onto the Linux system, and so that's actually kind of cool. And so, yeah, I'd have to go through and just resize the Linux system, set its virtual monitor to be whatever size I want it to be and not just drag and drop. That actually kind of works. And for if I'm doing recording and if I want it, a 1600 by 900 screen, it in some ways actually makes it easier. And if I go to full screen here, It will even center it, and that makes it easier for my recording in some ways. So I'll just do that. I'll go to full screen now, and we'll let this finish. It has finished copying files over. Now it's going to do the installation. Again, I don't know how long that takes. I didn't look to see the time at the beginning. I could see here it is 16:17 is what it says. And so we'll see how long that takes. And installation has just finished at 16:21. May have been 16:20, I don't know. I've been multitasking as I have a bad habit of doing. But we'll go ahead and let the system restart. Please remove the installation medium. And is it going to let me do it? It's not letting me do it here. I'm going to go out of... There's probably a way of doing this. It will not let me get to the menu, it seems. That's interesting. So I found a way of getting out of full screen. It involved me going to... Ooh, that's a little weird. Involved me going to the Apple system and using mission control to get out of full screen. And now it's definitely being a little weird. Let's see if I can get to the menu here. No? Well, this is why it's free. I'm going to quit out of VirtualBox and just come back in and see if that gets us past this. Okay, let's go ahead and start up VirtualBox again and start seeing if that installation worked. Not sure what it's doing, just taking a while to boot. I can resize and it knows the screen size. I guess that's a good thing. Oh, there we go. It is booting. Check your video drivers. Your system is currently running without video hardware acceleration. I did not get that on the Mate one. Let's go ahead and close this and make this a larger screen. Don't want to change the desktop background per se. I want to go into it. I haven't used Cinnamon in a while, so let's see if I could figure out how to do this. Display. And we'll set it to be 1600 by 1200, I don't know. Apply. Oh, it did resize the window here. Keep this configuration. I don't think it did that with Mate. And then I could go back into full screen if I want. Or can I? Oh, there we go. And my screen actually is bigger than what it has, but that does seem to work. Except now, oh, have I lost my start menu here? Let's get out of full screen. Have I lost my menu? I think I have because I probably made it too big. Nope, my menu is just gone. And pretty much unusable. I'm going to go and quit out of it and come back in. We will send a shutdown signal. And see if it shuts down properly. Shut down, yes please, because you're annoying me. Usually parallels, I have not run into these things, but I do need to have to put in a separate driver. Oh, is it finally doing it? I was going to just power off. Power off, just yank power. See what that does. It's not shutting down. Just go away. I know that I don't have that. I don't need this to show at launch. Oops. And no panel. Well, I don't even know how to get the panel back on Mint. I'm sure, on Cinnamon I should say, I'm sure there's an easy way of doing it that's going to be user error. And then I can go over, assuming it's doing its thing in the background, there we go. And I will start up Mate. Mate treated me much better than did Cinnamon. It could be because Mate is based on GNOME 2 and doesn't have as high of requirements. I don't know, that's just a guess. And Mate has its panel, well, the menu isn't showing up yet, but presumably, there we go, it'll show up. And there we go. It's running. I did add a window manager here, or workspace manager. I will say I find it really strange with Mate, the default settings on it, that it gives you the choice to move things. Well, I have to wait for that to start, I suppose. Starting Firefox. To move this space to the workspace to the right, but then without the workspace switcher, does not give you a way to move, to see that even. I'm going to go ahead and move it to the workspace left. You can use Control Option or what do they call it? Control Alt on Windows, and you could jump back and forth between the two. And that's actually how I have my Mac set up, so it's pretty natural for me, but there's no visual way of getting there. But here it is. You'll see it is not very fast. Again, I think Parallels is faster with it, but it does work. And I could resize the screen. I can resize windows, move those around. It's kind of clunky though, as you can see here. It's not really that speedy. Maybe the video drivers on Parallels are just simply better. I don't know. I did add writer to here, and it's just kind of slow and clunky. I'm not as impressed with this as I was hoping I would be. Parallels is going to cost me money, but it is much faster. So if I'm going to do a lot of these, I will probably want to go and invest in Parallels. Again, I can go into full screen, Command F, and it should do full screen. There we go. And that's if I were to do lots of recordings, that's how I'd probably do it. And here I can resize the screen quite well, going to displays and 1440 by 900 or whatever size I want it to be. And that actually, I might as well redo it, make it a little bit smaller, and make it, I don't know, it doesn't matter, whatever size I want it to be. And that seems to work fine. I'm going to say restore previous configuration. And I could even, if I wanted to, make it larger. I don't know what my actual screen size is here. And I have it set to be two times the size. But there we go. I mean, this right here, it is not a great environment to use Linux in because it's just slow. It's the VirtualBox is simply just slow. So that's kind of a frustration with it. But other than that, it seems to be working.